What's up, everybody? Thralls here once again. I'm Necrotic,
I'm Jammin, John.
and we have an album review for you, or rather an EP review. And I thought about just covering this in a collection update, but honestly, looking at the track list on this album, I was like, yeah, we got to do a review because we get a fair amount of nostalgia here. So we're going to go over the latest EP from Ghost, Phantomime. That's a fucking clever name there. This also came out on the 19th of May on Loma Vista Records. This band formed in 2006 in Sweden. This is their third EP overall. They have 5 full lengths. It's Ghost. They are a very divisive band when it comes down to the metal community. Some people love them. Some people are indifferent. Other people hate their fucking guts. I'm actually a fan of them. I like them, but I've always specified that their metal side isn't the side that I really gravitate to. It's their love of like kind of 80s pop and fun shit like that, because I'm still a sucker for that sound. And that was a big draw for this EP because this is a covers EP, and man, they kind of ran the gamut of very different covers on here. And honestly, it was a lot of fun to go over just because, man, nostalgia is a fucking fun thing.
Yeah, very diverse fucking selection of songs. Now, I most notably am more on the indifferent side for Ghost. I neither hate them nor really like them. I've actually seen them a couple times, and while they're entertaining live, I don't know. I don't know where I sit, but this cover album was fun. Totally fun, and you can tell that they had fun when they did it. We'll just dive into it here.
We might as well just track by track this, because I mean, each one of these covers they did are like vastly different just in terms of like, well, the bands and people they covered. And it definitely plays to a lot of stuff that you could say are Ghost's influences, like for damn sure. Like this is pretty much them telling you, like, yeah, now this is on our playlist, like, quite often.
Starts with See No Evil from Television. Now, prior to this evening, I had never heard the original.
Same here.
Yeah, so we figured that we would start with the originals of all these songs just to kind of get, our feelers out there. While a couple of them we've heard a bunch.
Definitely.
There were a couple we haven't, this being one of them. And the original was more like punky.
Yeah.
Like 70s kind of style punk. You could hear a little bit of like 80s influence in there, but not a whole lot.
They were kind of described as like a proto-punk band. I've heard of them. I've never actually jammed them. Actually, the only thing I knew about them was Richard Hell was in this band. And he was like a notable punk guy too back in like the late 70s and early 80s.
The cover that Ghost did was obviously bigger production because if you know Ghost, especially if you've seen them live, you know that theatrics are a really big thing.
Everything is huge. And yeah, the whole sound of this EP is gigantic,
yes,
as to be expected. But well done. Like, really well done.
Yep. This track was most notably more of like a disco / classic rock kind of take.
Yeah.
Like Van Halen and Motley Crue doing a disco song.
It's kind of like the antithesis of the song itself. Like, of course, they're still playing all the riffs and hooks in it, and it's done really well. But it's like they took this song from the 70s and drug it kicking, screaming into the 80s and just, sprinkled some cocaine on it and said, here you go. See, this is fun. It's, like a complete change in the entire vibe, because the original song is very stripped down, very just, kind of bare bones, like a little bit of blues rock and punk in there. And this is this giant gaudy thing, but it kind of does a good job with accentuating the hookier parts of it. The disco beat in the pre-chorus, I think, is a particularly good hook. Like, kind of gets your ass shaken for a little bit. It still has, like, the main vocal hook, but you add some, like, really shreddy leads, which is totally not like a punk thing. And some lightly peppered in synths, which, honestly, on all these covers, even the songs that really don't rely on synths, even the originals, they do a good job with making sure they add something to the song. And this one, it's done very subtly, and it works.
Yeah, it just adds like a touch of atmosphere to it, which just, again, helps with the overall big lavish production.
Yeah. And, I mean, yeah, they kind of reimagined it, made it their own, and these covers are really cool in the sense that some of these are a little bit more straightforward. Like, they just want to do the song and pay homage to it without really, doing anything extra to it. And then some of them, they really just reimagine. And that is definitely the next track, Jesus He Knows Me, originally done by Genesis off of We Can't Dance. Not really my favorite Genesis album, but that is one of my favorite Genesis songs, and they metal it the fuck up.
Yep.
They take that, faster rhythm, but they add like a syncopated chug on top, and it really kind of adds like a more metal vibe to it. It makes it a little bit more dark and sinister.
I made a comparison to like 80s Dream Theater.
Yeah.
Like, it's just got that big sound that Dream Theater would have. Like, everything's rich and full, and the guitar, dude.
The guitars
in here are something else.
It's a great tone. Like, it's just a very rich, very classic sound.
Warm.
And good crunch to it, and it really drives the song. Like, it's definitely propelled by this faster beat. And, yeah, they nailed the big hook on the chorus. I mean, yeah, Tobias isn't Phil Collins, but few people are Phil Collins. But he does a good job here. And I think especially one of the cool things that they did that really made it its own is on the original, there is a little reggae bridge. Mm-hmm. It's a really cool moment in that song. But here they kind of flip it and turn it into like this big gothic kind of like 80s rocker moment, like very Ozzy-ish.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100% very. And you can hear it in the vocals too. It just reminds me of something found in Ozzy.
Yeah, take Genesis and merge it with Ozzy's The Ultimate Sin, and you have like a little bit of this bridge here. I've always loved this song because it's a very targeted song. Yeah, sure, it's a poppy, hooky song, but it's also about how televangelists and evangelicals in general are hypocritical pieces of shit, and it's done with such a clever hook. And this is definitely something I would see Ghost covering just due to their lyrical themes and
well,
such.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, they've always had, certain targets painted, and to a degree, I think this band probably irritates those groups even more because Ghost has been wildly successful.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, kids are singing all these lyrics just like, oh, they should be singing the hymns in church. Like, nah, I'm cooler with them singing the lyrics to this song than any of that shit.
Next up was the song Hanging Around by the Stranglers. Once again, this was another song that I'd never heard.
Same.
Or I guess heard in its entirety because it became slightly recognizable towards the end. But this sticks more closely to the original. Like, the original was kind of like a 70s punk type of thing.
Yeah, another band that was kind of like that proto-punk sound, like a little bit of like new wave because they had keys, and I like the fact that instead of doing like a lush synth, like they went with like kind of a almost old school Hammond organ kind of sound to kind of keep it, much like the original. It's a really good song. Like, the original's awesome, too. Like, we jammed and I was like, dude, this is good. I feel like I should have been listening to this for years.
Yeah, right? It felt really close to home, and again, with what they did with it, once again, it's just a token to their bigger production.
Yeah. I do like that they kind of just made the vocal harmonies bigger. I mean, if you've seen Ghost live, they have a lot of backup vocalists, and, the giant choral effect is... well, very effective, and they do it really well here because the original has like some really good backup vocals, and they take that and kind of roll with it and make them a bit bigger. But the one thing that I noticed, and I think it's just kind of snuck in there as an additional little tribute, because this whole thing is definitely a tribute to bands they love, the lead on it, I'm reasonably sure they take a nugget out of the opening lead on Fade to Black off of Raid the Lightning. I think it is. I think it is. I'm pretty damn sure it is.
I think it is too, because once we kind of heard that, we were both like, hey, wait a minute. And like, sat with it for a minute, and then we actually went and listened to the Fade to Black solo, and I think it is too. If it's not, it's really fucking close.
It's super fucking close, but honestly, I could see them kind of just peppering that in for fun. It's like, hey, let's see if anyone catches that.
Yeah.
And that's a fun little tribute.
Yep.
But yeah, another solid song, and honestly, it's kind of a good one in the sense that I really want to check out the Stranglers more now. Now, one of the ones that I was looking forward to out of all of them was their cover of Iron Maiden's Phantom of the Opera off of their original self-titled album. I like that album, but I've always had issues with the production.
Agreed.
It's just a bit thin, and like I said, listening to Iron Maiden versus Killers is like night and day. Like, Killers sounds damn near perfect.
Agreed. If you go back and watch our Iron Maiden ranking, we talk more in depth about those two records. But yeah, this sounds like just a very well done remastered version of Phantom of the Opera.
Bigger, thicker guitars, a little bit of synths peppered in for atmosphere. But this is Phantom of the Opera, and honestly, it fits because they kind of add some more like gothic choirs in the background.
A pinch of it sounds like maybe it just had a little bit of like 70s prog influence on it.
A little bit. I mean, honestly, this was Maiden's first epic. Like, Maiden's definitely known for their giant epic songs, Alexander the Great, Rime of the Ancient Mariner. This was kind of their first stab at it in their first album, and I've always loved this song. I think it is brilliantly constructed. The riffs are amazing. The lead trade-offs are great, and Ghost nails it. They absolutely crush it. And it's really interesting because this isn't necessarily a vocally driven song, and generally you think of Ghost, like, Tobias is out front singing his fucking mask off, and, it's all about the big vocal hook. This has vocal parts, but a lot of it is built around the instrumentation. And
it's spot on.
Yeah.
Like, they do, like, high five to Ghost, all of you. This is very well done.
Every last one of you ghouls. That's why I wore the shirt.
Oh, ho.
It's not as smart as you think. Yeah, they absolutely crushed the song. I was, a little worried because I hold this one in high esteem. I mostly listened to like the live version that was out there for a while, and their 2-disc set version of Killers. But they crush it. And I mean, if you don't crush a Maiden cover, you will fucking hear about it.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, that's kind of a big undertaking anyway. So, okay, we're going to do a Maiden cover, and like, you better be damn good at what you're doing to use that name.
Yeah, don't piss off that fan base.
That's the upper echelon of all things music, especially in metal. So yeah.
I mean, I rated the last Iron Maiden kind of low, and I might have heard about it. Couple of people might have told me you're a dick.
I mean, we've all heard things here.
People have been telling me that for years now. It's fine.
And then the last song, "We Don't Need Another Hero" by Tina Turner.
I love the song. I do. All right. One of my favorite movies growing up was Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. I've watched that probably more than any other Mad Max film. I've watched Fury Road a lot though.
Yeah,
that movie fucking rules. But as a kid, that was the one that was on cable the most. We rented it too as a kid. The whole concept of Thunderdome, 2 men enter, 1 man leave. Like, I love that. And Tina Turner as, I guess, the villain. I mean, she kind of was the villain in that. Was pretty cool, but the song was epic. I remember seeing the video for it on MTV back when MTV played music. Yeah, that was kind of crazy. I mean, how the hell do you even keep the fucking M in the name now?
But yeah, I mean, that song in itself has always been just very powerful, very, the emotive of that song was just triumphant.
Oh,
and
great.
A great song. And to be honest, they did yet another really good job.
They crushed it. The chorus is absolutely huge. They kept the giant canned drums after she says, the fucking song name right in the first verse of the chorus. It's really well done. It's another one that they kind of just stick to the song itself. Like, changing around some tones. Like, there's kind of like a cool guitar synth that kind of drives it. I think it's a guitar synth. There's a lot of stuff going on in this production, but again, it's all done really well. But yeah, they nailed it.
Yeah. In fact, it's been stuck in my head since we listened to it. I might jam the original on the way home.
Watch the movie too.
I'm probably definitely gonna watch the movie. That's got to be on Prime.
Oh, it's got to be.
It's got to be.
It's got to be. I
mean, that movie was so well publicized when it came out. Dude.
Road Warrior is better. Road Warrior is better. But I do like Thunderdome. It's definitely like the big, giant production.
Every time we get a new employee at work, I say, "Welcome to the Thunderdome," and people look at me like I'm crazy.
Honestly, I don't have really many complaints at all on this. I think the production's awesome for what it is. Like, it's big, it's gaudy, but it's fucking Ghost. It kind of should be. But it's mixed well. Like, all the layers come in well. Nothing's really overpowered. Mm-hmm. And I think they, made use of different production techniques on each track to really capture the vibe they were going for. And on here, you got a good variety. Like, you have some more straightforward covers, and you have some more, like, reimagined songs. But the main thing is, I feel like you can just feel that they had fun doing this, because these songs are all awesome in their own right, and all wildly different. Yep. And I think that's awesome with the covers album, because generally you get, like, a covers album, and it's like, they're kind of covering a lot of the same stuff. But...
Right, like, most people cover, there's a whole gambit of things that people usually cover, but they mostly stick to the same old bullshit. Whereas in this case, I feel like these songs aren't covered often, and I mean, mostly for the fact that I've never even heard 2 of them until tonight.
Yeah. I mean, we got a fucking covers album with, like, some fun 80s shit, and it wasn't Toto's Africa. Holy shit, That almost never happens.
When the Member Berries did it on South Park, I thought that was one of the best. One of the best. Hands down. It moved me.
Overall, though, I'm going to go ahead and give this 4 stars. Like, this is absolutely awesome. I mean, even if I wasn't a Ghost fan, like, even if I hated him, I would be hard-pressed not to say that, yeah, these are well executed. And yeah, it plays to some of my heartstrings. Like, I mean, especially We Don't Need Another Hero. Like, that's like a childhood memory right there. And Phantom of the Opera, low-key, is like one of my favorite fucking Iron Maiden songs. The 2 songs that I wasn't familiar with, I actually want to listen to more by those bands now. Like, that's a really cool, thing about this. And Jesus He Knows Me is a great fucking reimagining. Like, it's a fucking bitey metal song now.
Yeah.
And they crushed it. They did a great job. So, I mean, honestly, I think to a degree, even some of the haters might actually like some of the stuff. I'm not going to say they totally will. Like, I'm pretty sure there's, like, people that are just going to, like,
I mean,
fuck 'em.
I'm sure... In fact, I'm sure we'll get shit on in the comments. This isn't even metal. What the fuck's wrong with you people?
It is and it isn't, but it's good. That's the main thing. So, yeah, 4 stars. Check it out. I mean, like I said, if you're a big, like, 80s fan, like both of us, you're probably going to find some stuff you like here.
It's a 4 for me as well. And noting in the beginning of this where I wasn't, I'm an indifferent Ghost fan. I think that still remains true. However, this presentation of these 5 songs was enormously fun. I had a great time. You could tell they had a great time. When they stick to their guns and make it pretty close to the original, they really do a good job, dude. Again, Phantom of the Opera by Iron Maiden. I, too, love that song to begin with anyway, and they nailed the fucking fuck out of it. And there's no really denying that. Yeah, the 2 songs I had never heard before were very well done. Dude, Jesus He Knows Me, I love that song anyway. I fucking love Phil Collins. I don't care.
We're listening to Phil Collins right now in the background.
We are. And in fact, I'm probably going to listen to No Jacket Required on the way home. I have this on vinyl. I have Susudio on a fucking single disc, or a single EP vinyl. Yeah, and We Don't Need Another Hero. That again is stuck in my head. But overall, they just did such a great job at all of this. It's so well done, and it's not, as much as Ghost is known for their theatrics and over-the-top things sometimes, like, it's not presented here. It's presented as a band that took some songs that are way out of the box, as far as I'm concerned, for covers, and had a little bit of fun with them, and reimagined them a little bit, and added some flavor to it, and some flair, but overall kept things together like they should have, and it's just a great time.
And this is their second batch of covers on an EP too. If you have Ghosts, it's a pretty good one too. But I don't know, this one I think appeals to me even more. Yeah, fucking great job, guys.
Yep, the whole thing is way better than I thought it would be. So, yeah, excellent job.
So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We are also on Patreon. If you'd like to help us out there, there's a link down below to thrallsofmetal.com. Our store is there, as well as our Patreon link. We need to load up on stuff in our store, but
we're actually working on that right now. Miller's actually working on all that right now.
Okay, well, there you go. A progress report right there.
Yeah, pretty soon. In fact, he came to me with like a whole itemized list of everything. Like, we're really close, actually, to new shirts, so that's pretty cool. I think we're finally going to get some beanies, so that's pretty neat.
All right.
Yeah. And then, certainly last but not least, we're in the midst of a giveaway for 15,000 subscribers. That's so strange to say. Every time I say it, I can't believe it. Yeah. Down at the bottom of the 10,000 giveaway, all you have to do is comment, and you will be entered in to win a stack of 10 CDs that Necrotic Nick is giving away. Look, thank you guys for getting us to this point. It is amazing. I'm beside myself most days to think about having a YouTube channel with 15,000 subscribers. And
that's weird, because I'm beside you right now.
That is weird.
That is weird.
That's weird. But yeah, really, we couldn't do this without you guys. We are humble and grateful and thankful to be here. We couldn't do all this without you guys. It's just, man, I 15,000 subscribers. Are you fucking kidding me? But thank you for that.
So yeah, I'm going to give you one more thanks to pepper in there, and we will catch you later.